Hey everybody, it is Kellen Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, and boy, the big news this week is the Wednesday Night War is coming, and that's the phrase that's been coined by everybody over on Twitter, so for the time being, that's what I'm going to refer it as. Not only will AEW be debuting in October, their big television program, but we learned that NXT is moving to kind of be the head-to-head counteract of that programming to the USA Network starting on September 18th. So they're going to even get a 2-week kind of head start on this and that stuff. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, especially on the international distribution side of things. For example, AEW still has not named a provider here in Canada yet for their brand new show. A lot of speculation on it being TSN. I think it's probably 99% correct that it will be TSN or one of the TSN channels or family of channels that will be airing AEW, probably live as it happens. And that's going to be one side of the equation. With NXT debuting on USA Network in the States, it's going to be, where do they end up here in Canada? For example, Rogers owns the rights to to WWE, I should say. So Raw and SmackDown are on Sportsnet 360. However, they have come fall and winter time, a very lucrative sports property that runs sometimes on Sportsnet 360 called Wednesday Night Hockey with their exclusive deal with the NHL. Once again, I talked about this in an earlier vlog. So it'll be very interesting to see if maybe NXT ends up on, City or Omni, which is two other channels that are owned by the Rogers family of networks and such. It's going to be, it'll be very interesting to see where that lands. I think that it could potentially start out on Sportsnet 360 because the first couple weeks, nothing really is happening. It's NHL preseason anyway, but once we hit October, then we might find some channel shuffling on that end. Also, is NXT going to stay on the WWE Network as either a encore or maybe as a simulcast as this program evolves and continues? A lot of details to be, flushed out over the next few weeks here and that stuff. And the big thing, will moving to 2 hours affect the product? And that's going to be the huge question because we all know what happened with Monday Night Raw and moving to 3 hours and what that has done to that product. And SmackDown in the fall going to Fox, looking at the same thing, a 3-hour time slot on Fridays. What's that going to do to the product, right? A lot of changes on that side, maybe not all for the better. So with NXT and AEW going head-to-head, they're going head-to-head in the United States, but maybe hold back on that going through on every, country or across the world, around the world, or every continent around the world, because we don't know what's happening over in the UK yet. We don't know what's happening up here in Canada yet with either program on Wednesday nights. So we might get a Wednesday Night War up here, we might not. However, for the US, I think this comes at a great time because this is the on-demand era. Let's face it. I think if you watch one live, I think you'll probably be either PVRing or watching the other one on tape delay. And it'll be a real, it'll be just a real decision on which one you decide to watch by looking at what the match rundown is on each card. I think people will be shifting from week to week depending on what is presented to them in the advertising and the promotion on social media for each show. If AEW's card looks better on a Wednesday night than NXT's, you'll probably want to, check out AEW's. Vice versa, if NXT is coming off of a big takeover event and AEW's pay-per-view is 2 or 3 weeks away still, I think you'll probably want to catch the NXT right after the takeover in Houston or whatever. It's going to be really fluctuating back and forth. I think this is the strongest brand that WWE could use to counteract AEW right now at this time. Looking at NXT now as kind of the third brand is kind of deceiving. I would almost suggest that in watchability, it goes SmackDown, then NXT, then Raw. And maybe that might even flip-flop some weeks where NXT is the most watchable one than SmackDown. But it's just one of those things where you can take a look at it, and I think week by week it'll change, it'll fluctuate. It'll be very unpredictable as well. The biggest winners is us as fans, I think, and it's not worth picking a side whether you're pro WWE or pro AEW here. I think you just gobble up as much content as you can, and you can talk about it and compare notes and just watch everything kind of unveil as the weeks and months move on. And like I said, this is just a starting point too. Nothing is really set in stone over, just maybe the contract lengths of each show going for a year or 2 years in that time slot. After a year or so, WWE could choose to go to the USA Network and say, okay, well, we're going to move this to Tuesday nights instead or something, or vice versa, AEW or TNT. So, this is just a starting point. I think it's great. I think it just adds to the popularity with things. It's awesome to see the NXT guys get their brand and girls get their brand of entertainment out there, because it is a far superior brand of entertainment than what's on WWE TV now. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people, especially a lot of casual viewers. I think a lot of casual viewers can tune in and watch NXT for 2 hours on Wednesday, or AEW 2 hours on Wednesday, and get their wrestling fill for the week and be very happy with what they're watching. Alright, if you got thoughts on that or anything else, put them below. Comment or tweet me at Kellen Nitro. I just wanted to kind of wrap a little bit on that, but it'd be very interesting to see what happens going forward. I'm Kellen Nitro, later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll catch you next time.